Hi, I'm Vinny. I'm an engineer at DigitalOcean, and I'm here with Pedro. He works as CTO at Attentive.us. Is that how you say Attentive.us?
Yeah, you can say either Attentive or Attentive.us.
I see. Cool. Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about your company?
We started Attentive. The main idea started a lot of years ago. Me and my brother is our CEO. We started discussing how we would consume information in the future, how we would how the platforms would be smarter, and we did a lot of tinkering, a lot of projects, and we like to build things. Then we got to the current idea we have for Attentive, the current vision. And then we went to Luis, our co-founder. He's also a technical guy. We were ready to start implementing our vision. And we talked to Luis, he joined us, and the three of us, we went through accelerator programs and even Techstars, and we're building since then.
And in these almost 2 years, what's in the part of the journey? What surprised you the most? What was something that you didn't even imagine when having the idea of the company? What happened that you're like, wow?
Honestly, I think the biggest surprise would be Techstars. Getting into Techstars was humbling. We're the three of us. We're from Braga, back in the north of Portugal, which is a very small town. It's the third in Portugal, but it's still small. Getting into Techstars was a huge deal. Where we couldn't believe when they accepted us. So that was an amazing experience.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I'm a tech guy also, so I'm thinking like, how did you set up in terms of like with your team? Like, okay, let's build things so that we can move fast. How did that influence the trajectory of the company? Like, did you feel like, I need to do technology differently because of that, or it was that like, okay, let's build this, and then if it doesn't work out, we're just gonna.
No, we usually when we build something, we try to make it stable and be the final thing. What we did initially, we tried to do the develop fast and don't test anything. Let's just do this. But after a few months, we were like, every time we're gonna deploy, we're like very afraid. We're not sure if it's gonna break, it's not gonna break. So what we did was take one step back and say, no, let's do everything fast, but we're experienced developers, so let's do things fast but well, and test everything and do like a continuous integration, continuous development, deployment, and everything.
I see.
Because we were honestly afraid of deploying. Yeah. So our main focus, our main shift in perspective was to the develop fast is good. For the first months, it's okay, but then you have to change that really quickly, and that's one of the things that we had to change.
I see, that's cool. So from what you're mentioning about how you have experienced people to be able to do that really fast, is that how you see like, okay, if we're bringing someone aboard, it's a small company, and it's a difficult journey because it's in the beginning, you have a lot to move on. Did that change the way you're thinking of like bringing early employees? How do you screen them, talk to them?
Yeah, so on the stage we're at, for the development side, we try to focus, we've been talking to people and we try to focus on more experienced people, because on a technical perspective, it's easier to tell just give the code to an experienced person. He's gonna he or she is gonna do everything and get there fast. But we do want juniors because they like to learn. They're much faster learning new things than we are. We're just we can't do that now. It's going to be a bit in the future, because experienced people just bring so much knowledge. Saying that, having said that, we do try to not hire for skills. So it's not if you fill out a spreadsheet and you match all the skills, we don't try to hire for that. We try to do more core values based recruitment, which is if they believe in the same things that we do, if they match the company's core values, it's easier to teach them afterward, because skills can be taught. But the core values are just core values. You either have them or you don't.
The technology that you chose for the company, was that influenced by a market or for sourcing of people? How did that go?
So we didn't. We chose the technologies that we were already using and that we know. Me and Luis were from computer science, and we love to tinker, so we focus on open source. Anything that's open source is fair game, mainly because it's free, it's open, everyone can learn it back at home even before they start, and which is a great plus. And everyone is writing documentation for you, which is great. Having open source as a minimum, that's the minimum requirement for developers on Attentive. Apart from that, we're using Python, so that's our base, the language for backend API and all of that. I don't know if.
How do you tackle scalability in the company? Because whenever you have to deal with machine learning, you probably need a lot of data to get models that actually work. So how do you approach it in terms of tech stack and horizontal or vertical? Yeah.
So initially, in the first times of the company, we were doing single machine, like everyone. Our second step was to split it in different machines. Third step, making containers, like everyone's doing now. Separating everything in single containers, and then the most difficult step was to, how do you run this? How do you put containers? Like, they're awesome for scalability. Everyone's saying like, you just throw more containers, run them. But how do you do that? And we were using a proprietary solution, but now we joined Hatch and we started doing more bare metal. So because we're 3 experienced developers, we do have the knowledge to build everything from scratch, which is awesome for us. Proprietary solutions usually are locked in, like you can't touch any settings. If they have settings, it's not the best. It's hard, but we have the experience. So Hatch was a big help in that, because being able to just deploy machines and run them and test everything really fast really helped us. So our final conclusion right now is Kubernetes. We're running, our cluster is running. So if we have the need for more computational power, just throw more machines and more containers, and we run everything. And Hatch was a big part of that. We were able to quickly have a cluster running and be very stable. And that's how we deal with scalability.
So then, did you roll your monitoring tools, or did you use open source stuff? You already mentioned being passionate about open source. How do you go through getting all this infrastructure? How do you operate it? Yeah.
So right now, for the Kubernetes cluster, we're running Terraform to build the cluster, have the cluster running, and keep it up to date. When we need a new worker, a new machine a new node for the cluster, just do an increment on the script, run it, and it's gonna build a new machine, connect it to the cluster, and be there. We use load balancers a lot, the DigitalOcean ones, so we can build our services and then connect a load balancer to all the workers. They're gonna serve all the requests. The firewalls, which are the basic components that we need, mainly the load balancers. They're awesome to use.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we just have a Terraform script, run it, build a cluster, and then put the load balancers there and protect everything with firewalls. That's mainly it.
Thank you very much for your time. Yeah,
Okay.
this is
Thank you
awesome.
so much. Thanks.